opportunity for serving in this way, and this opportunity to chant and recite Srimad Bhagavatam with you. So today's verse is verse number 16. Om Jnanatirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gaurvani Pacharine Nirvishesha Shunyadi Pashadacharine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So welcome to all the exalted devotees, especially here in this New York area, where the modes are thick and the yearning hearts are many. Today we're diving deep, literally, into one of the most radiant shlokas of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Now, before we dive into verse 16, let's briefly understand the mood of this chapter so far. So in chapter 87, we find something quite extraordinary. The Vedas themselves are speaking, not just printed texts or dry philosophical formulas, but the personified Shrutis, the eternal sound vibrations. They are offering their heartfelt glorifications of Lord Krishna. They're praying directly to him in his form as Mahavishnu, and their prayers are profound meditations. Meditations on the nature of liberation, the supremacy of bhakti, and the transcendental, beautiful form of the Lord. So just imagine all this, all the different paths, karma path, jnana, yoga, all standing before the Lord. And now the Vedas themselves are declaring, only through devotional service can one truly understand and love you. Everything else in comparison is chewing the chewed. So this chapter is kind of like a TED talk. It's a spiritual TED talk, but from the highest source, the Shrutis themselves. Ideas worth spreading, how to transcend illusion and access the uninterrupted happiness in Krishna's service. So by the time we reach this verse number 16, the Vedas have already peeled back the layers, all the various, impersonal speculation, mechanical rituals, even dry austerities, and they now glorify specifically those devotees who have dived so deeply into Krishna Katha that they live beyond the modes, beyond time, and beyond anxiety. In essence, this chapter shows us what it really means to be beyond liberation. Liberation is not the end. Beyond liberation is to be immersed in Krishna, always tasting his nectar, untouched by material contamination, and swimming forever in the ocean of divine bliss. So I'll share the screen here and we could follow along the verse. Iti tava suraya striyadipate khilalokamala kshapana kathamritabdim avagahya tapamsi jahu kimuta punasvadama viduta shayakala guna parama bhajanti padamajasra sukhanubhavam. Therefore, O master of the three worlds, the wise get rid of all misery by diving deep into the nectarian ocean of topics about you, which washes away all the contamination of the universe. Then what to speak of those who, having by spiritual strength rid their minds of bad habits and freed themselves from time are able to worship your true nature, O Supreme One, finding within it uninterrupted bliss. Purport by servants of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, in the previous verse, those Shrutis whose presentation of the Supreme Truth may seem impersonal clarified their true purpose. Now, in the present verse, those who focus exclusively on the divine personality of Godhead, who speak of his transcendental pastimes, take their turn in praising him. Because all the Vedas declare the supremacy of the personality of Godhead as the cause of all causes, discriminating persons should take to his worship. By diving into the ocean of his glories, intelligent devotees help dispel the distress of all souls and loosen their own burning attachment to material life. These advancing devotees gradually give up all material attachment and lose any interest they once had in the troublesome austerities of karma, jnana, and yoga. Beyond these devotees are the Suris, connoisseurs of spiritual truth, who honor the nectarian ocean of the Supreme Lord's glories by immersing themselves fully within it. These mature devotees of the Supreme Lord achieve unimaginable perfection. The Lord, reciprocating their sincere endeavors, empowers them to realize him in his personal form. Remembering with rapture the Lord's intimate pastimes and entourage, they are automatically freed from the last subtle traces of mental contamination and from sensitivity to the unavoidable pains of disease and old age. Referring to the purifying power of devotional service, the Shruti said, Tad yatha pushkara palasha apo na shlishyante evam vidhi papam karma na shlisyate. Just as water does not adhere to a lotus leaf, so sinful activities do not adhere to one who knows the truth in this way. The Shatapatha Brahmana, Taittiriya Brahmana, Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, and Bodhayana Dharma Shastra all concur, na karmana lipyate papakena. One thus avoids becoming tainted by sinful activities. The Rig Veda refers to the Supreme Lord's pastimes as follows. Vishnor nukam viryani pravocham ya parthivani vimame rajamsi. Only he may fully enunciate the heroic deeds of Lord Vishnu, who can count all the particles of dust in the world. Many Shruti mantras glorify devotional service to the Lord, such as Eko Vashi Sarvago Ye Nubhajanti Dhiras Tesham Sukham Shashvatam Netaresham. He is the one omnipresent Lord and controller. Only those wise souls who worship him obtain eternal happiness, not anyone else. In this connection, Srila Sridhar Swami prayed, Sakala Veda Ganarita Sadgunas Tvamiti Sarva Manishi Janarata Tvai Subhadra Gunashravanadibis Tava Padasmarane Nagata Klamaha. Because all the Vedas describe your transcendental qualities, all thoughtful persons are attracted to hearing and chanting about your all auspicious qualities. Thus, by remembering your lotus feet, they are freed from material distress. Purport. Hare Krishna. So sometimes it's nice to just take a look at the layers of the verse itself. Let's look at this word Surya, the Suris, the wise ones. they're glorified here. The Suryas, they are not just Gyanis or Tapasvis, they are Suris, expert relishers of truth, connoisseurs. In our Sampradaya, they are like the six Goswamis, Srila Prabhupada, and all those bhaktas who no longer live in theory, but relish. They're living in the relish of Krishna. These are the Suryas. Another line that's very poignant is Kathamrita Abdim Avagahya. Kathamrita, this katha, this nectarian topic of Krishna. They're avagahya. Avagahya means they're diving deep into it. They're not just dipping their toe. This isn't about occasionally reading a verse before going to bed. Avagahya means immersing, swimming, surrendering, soaking, embracing every word, relishing the juice that's infinite. This analogy is very apt. When our practice feels dry, this is the missing element, immersion. You have to immerse, dive. Avagahya, not dipping. And then another line, which is very interesting, is tapamsi jahu, that they give up austerity. This is interesting. See, bhakti replaces dry austerity. The joy of Krishna consciousness makes penance unnecessary because the heart has found the higher taste that it's seeking. Krishna says, Param drishtva nivartate, right, in Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, that having experienced the higher taste, one gives up the lower taste. And then there's another line that says, Swadhama vidutashaya kala guna. Vidutashaya, which means completely giving up even the subtle, deep impressions. So these great devotees, they are free not only from sin, but from time, from kala, from the modes, the gunas, and ashayas, the deep, subtle impressions. They're free from it. So this deep sadhana, this practice, where even the subconscious samskaras, the subconscious impressions, are burnt away by the intensity of bhakti practice. That is quite an accomplishment. But of course, it's not an accomplishment because of the efforts of the bhakta, but the mercy of the Lord and the power of bhakti itself is so powerful. All the bhakta needs to do is dive in and immerse. All we need to do is just dive in and pray for the mercy. And these ashayas will be washed away. Now, Srila Jiva Goswami, he is offering some explanations. See, in the previous verses to this, the Shrutis have an impersonal tone, but now they're clarifying their goal. In this verse, the Rasika Bhaktas are speaking up. The voices of the Veda are saying, no, the highest is the Bhakta. That they've transcended karma, jnana, and yoga. Now only Krishna Leela, only Krishna Nama, only Krishna Seva remain. That's it. This is a contrast that's being brought out from the previous verses. Then this idea of freedom from tapasya. Why? Why? I thought austerity is one of the legs of dharma. Why are they talking about a freedom from austerity? See, here, the austerities are not abandoned because of weakness or because someone is tired of them. They're abandoned from a sense of complete fulfillment, that there's no need for it. The whole point of austerity is to bring you to this point of fulfillment. The purport says, advancing devotees gradually lose interest in karma, jnana, and yoga. And a lot of these involve austerity. If the austerity is aimed at karma, jnana, yoga, they're useless. Of course, the austerity is aimed at improving our bhakti. That's always embraced. And that's not even seen as austerity. That's just seen as breathing of the devotee. And then this ajasra sukha anubhava, this experiencing of this pleasure. But ajasra. Ajasra means not just sometimes, but uninterrupted, constant, effortless bliss. Effortless bliss. Some people are just so beautiful. They're effortlessly beautiful. They smile. They don't need to put on anything. They don't need to wear fancy clothes or anything. They're just effortlessly beautiful. Like Krishna. And then they're devotees whose access to the bliss is effortless. It takes no time at all for them to just absorb their mind and really relish immediately. It's uninterrupted, it's constant, it's an effortless flow. For example, Haridas Thakur. Haridas Thakur's chanting of Nama was his food, that was his drink, that was his sleep, that was his breath. This is called Ajasra Sukha Anubhava. What are some practical takeaways for us living in the greater New York area in 2025? What's so great about New York? Well, many great things. Srila Prabhupada brought his lotus feet there. And this great movement was born there. Srila Prabhupada very fondly created for the Lord. So New York is great. So to say the greater New York area, well, yes, it's more than one meaning. But we are surrounded by the very heavy modes here too. So what can we take away from this verse? How can we imbibe something today? This verse is quite outstanding, especially because it forms a contrast to the previous tone. We can make this verse our meditation. Not just information. It's not just information that we're going to note down. It's something that we meditate on and pray that how can I fully absorb this into my bloodstream? That it becomes part of my muscle memory, becomes part of my heartfelt feelings. One, we can really think about our daily practice. The avagahya, that word in this verse, avagahya, it's a mindset. When we read Bhagavatam, when we attend a Bhagavatam class, of course, it's said we should hear with rapt attention. So we don't just touch the Bhagavatam, although touching is also very powerful. We don't just touch our beads, although touching is the first step. But we dive in. We dive in with depth, with a relish, with an excitement. What will we find today? What amazing words are going to reverberate in my heart today? Because I know every word in here is just vibrant. Will I be able to understand the context? Let me try. Let me pray to the Lord, my Lord. I know this Bhagavatam, every word, every verse is aimed at coming closer to you. Let me unlock that magic. Let me dive in. It said that, yes, you're swimming in the ocean. If you just stay on the surface, you'll just collect fish. If you're on the pearls, they're at the bottom. The pearls are at the bottom. You have to go way down, dive deep. So deep that the thunderstorm that's roaring at the surface, you don't even hear it because you're so deep. So don't just touch the Bhagavatam. We don't just touch our japa practice. We dive in. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Very deep. Quality. And a minimum quantity, but really go for quality. One drop of pure Krishna Katha. Amrita Bindu. One droplet can uproot lifetimes of material illusion. That's how powerful that. It's very potent, this nectar. Amrita literally means a deathless nectar. And all it takes is a drop, but it has to be absorbed. What is your absorption? Sometimes you have medication, but if your body doesn't absorb it, the medication doesn't work. See, your cells have to absorb it. And so we have to prepare ourselves internally as well. Our absorbency has to increase, which means what? Develop the taste and relish. And if it's not yet developed, then associate with devotees who have it developed. See the excitement in their faces when they run towards the opening of the doors of the temple room, and see the glow on their face when the curtain's about to open, and see their eyes light up when a beautiful line from Prabhupada's purport touches their heart. Then that'll rub off on us. That's how we get this taste. It's not possible to get taste in solitude by ourselves. We have to associate. Let's start our day by listening to a few minutes, deep listening, 15 minutes of Srila Prabhupada's lecture. Just listen to his tone of voice, listen to the meaning of each word, listen to the point he's trying to convey without multitasking. Just sit and listen. Try that as a meditation. Yes, of course, even while doing other stuff, we can listen, but maybe 15 minutes, we just sit and listen carefully, give him full attention. That's avagahya. You don't have to multitask every little thing. I know there's a city that doesn't sleep, but we don't sleep because we're losing sleep because we're trying to multitask and we're just exhausted. We're too exhausted to even sleep properly. That's why we don't sleep in New York. So stop this multitasking for a bit and just do one thing at a time and dive, avagahya, into Srila Prabhupada's merciful words. That's a daily practice we can do. Another one is we can examine our austerities. Am I forcing myself into some tapasya without tasting the rasa? Why am I not seeing the connection? Am I viewing my tapasya and austerity as a burden that I'm carrying with resentment? Or am I offering it as a flower to Krishna? My dear Lord, today I practiced all four regular principles like I've been doing for many years. But I'm going to offer that tapasya to you. Today is Ekadashi. Ekadashi here is on Saturday. So say it's Ekadashi and we fast from grains. We can offer that to the Lord. You can even offer with some humility, my Lord, this fasting is not such a major thing, but it's for you, my Lord. I'm doing this for you. So please accept it as this flower. Right. Real bhakti is defined, is explained that it should feel increasingly natural, or just more and more organic, more natural, not like forcing ourselves to eat dry crackers or rice cakes, but something more nutritious and absorbent, and this absorbed nicely. And then the other point that's being made is the subtle contaminations. Viduta ashaya. Viduta means thorough cleansing, complete, maha cleanup. And ashaya means our deep adverse impressions, unwanted things that are weeds. This can only happen when we are in touch with our authentic self. So for some time, put aside all the masks that we wear in public. Put them on the side. Stop rehearsing your external persona for a moment. Snap out of character and just present yourself to the Lord one-on-one. My Lord, this is who I am now. I know you know who I am. I'm not going to pretend anymore. Now, my Lord, please show me the anarthas I really need to get rid of. This is Viduta Ashaya. Deep cleansing of the impressions that are subconscious. We can be journaling, or we can do some reflecting after japa, for example, and ask, what anarthas am I still holding on to? Can I try to be a little more honest? Is my bhajan cosmetic, or is it transformational? Did my heart move a little bit today? Why not? Vidhuta ashaya means that even subconscious desires are uprooted. So that's another word in this verse, which is quite powerful. And then kala guna, we have to transcend, or we want to transcend kala guna. Our modern life in New York runs on deadlines, but Krishna's world is beyond time. How can we be beyond time? How can we practice timelessness? We can practice timelessness by scheduling timeless activities. Nama japa, kirtana, katha. We schedule them with absolute priority. This is as important as drinking water or getting water into my body. Nama, kirtan, katha. And we create our daily swadhama, sacred time zone that's untouched by rush. We don't rush that. After that, we can rush everything. But this time, we don't rush. We calm down, we slow down. We're not used to it, but we can make a time and space for not rushing. An unrushed nam, unrushed few minutes of kirtan, and unrushed absorption in katha. This allows us to transcend time because Krishna is beyond time. His world is beyond time. Our soul is by essence beyond time too. That's why we feel so nice when we are in that space of timelessness. So our reflection is my Krishna conscious practice, is it restorative or just regulatory? Am I clinging to tapasya just because I haven't yet tasted rasa? Let me understand the meaning of my tapasya. And what would it mean practically to live beyond the time and the gunas today? What can I do to step outside the gunas today? So Sridhar Swami prays in this purport, we see, Tvai subhadra guna shravanadi tava pada smaranena kataklama. This is an encouragement for us. This is something we want to take home as an encouragement. Those who hear your auspicious qualities, my Lord, and remember your lotus feet are freed from exhaustion, from the fatigue of material existence. So let us strive not just to hear Krishna's glories, but to dive into them. Let us not just do sadhana, but become absorbed in Krishna till the waves of this Kathamrita wash away even the deepest subtle desires. Thank you very much for your kind attention and your time. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Okay, so I think there's some, I didn't see any of these comments. I'm just seeing them now. Yes. Jeffrey Ackler asks, is there an etymological, this is advanced English. I don't know what these things mean, but okay. Is there, let's see. Oh, Surya and Suri. Okay. I'm just thinking there is, the roots of Surya and Surya are different. They could be related, but for Surya, the root for Surya is Swara, which means to shine. And the root for Suri, which means a sage, wise person, is Sura. So the roots are different. So they're not really etymologically related, although the sounds the same. But certainly there's a connection. You can see that both are shining and both are illuminating our path. So certainly we can draw a poetic parallel there for sure. Yes, Bhima Prabhu, my obeisances, please enlighten us.
Haribo Prabhu.
Haribo.
Can I, Haribo? What a effortlessly beautiful class. When you mentioned that Krishna is effortlessly beautiful, something flashed in my mind about that brightness and that spirit that you see in people. No matter what they may look like externally, that beauty that comes out with the light in their eyes and stuff. And of course, that's Krishna. that light, that spirit, that brightness. But when you said that, Prabhu, in juxtaposition to all the other beautiful things about actually yearning to spend time with Krishna, that sadhana isn't a burden, that it isn't a austerity, that true sadhana is effortlessly beautiful. It's like, who wouldn't want to show up to spend time with someone who is effortlessly beautiful? It just makes so much sense to the heart. If the heart had a mind to a philosophy, a form of logic, if the heart had a form of logic, it would be to always show up for that someone, capital S, who is effortlessly beautiful. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for giving me that image to carry me throughout the day. Hare Krishna.
Thank you for reflecting that, Prabhu. It's really appreciated. We get a sense of what beauty is when we learn about Krishna. Thank you. Krishna Daya, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu, for the wonderful class. At one point, you were saying about austerity, and then when we are doing austerity, we have to see is it becoming dry or something. And then immediately you said that, of course, austerity in bhakti is we don't see as an austerity. So when I'm reflecting, like as practicing devotees, what else austerities we have other than austerities in bhakti? Because whatever are difficulties, like mostly they are connected to bhakti. Like suppose we are doing some seva, okay, we didn't develop any taste, but we are doing just to please the temple or please the spiritual master. So I see that most of the things are connected to bhakti, right? So
Yeah,
can you please elaborate?
of course. Thank you. Yes. What austerities do we perform in bhakti? Of course, the basic austerities. And Prabhupada in some lectures, he said, for example, brahmacharya, that's tapasya. That we follow the regular principles, that's tapasya. But that's also defined as just baseline civilized human behavior, right? So that's one level of tapasya. The other tapasya is that we wake up on time, things like that. We fast on fasting days. That's also tapasya, and we offer that to the Lord. Then Krishna defines different kind of austerities in the Gita. You probably remember those, right? Like Krishna says austerity of speech. Remember that austerity of speech? As devotees, those are things that we want to, it comes naturally to devotees. And if it doesn't come naturally to us, that's fine, because we're conditioned certain ways. But at least we know what to aspire for. Right? Krishna says, what is the vanmayam tapa uchyate? Vanmaya means vak, means the words. What are these? This is known as tapa of the speech. Anudvega karam vakyam, satyam, priyam, hitam chayat. Not causing agitation or disturbance, being truthful avowedly, but speaking it pleasingly in an agreeable way, and for hita, for someone's benefit, to promote someone's welfare. Swadhyaya abhyasanam. So these are austerity of speech. So we perform, right? And we polish each of these. There's no end to how refined you can be in your compassion when you speak. How kind you can be. You can always be a little bit more kind, isn't it? So like that, austerity is always an ongoing thing. But because we're doing it to please Krishna and please the devotees, it becomes a natural thing. It becomes connected to your process. It becomes connected to the Supreme Lord directly. If I'm in the habit, because of my past conditioning, to always speak harshly, and today I spoke very kindly to you, very like it was like overcoming a mountain to speak one good thing to you, Prabhu. But I can offer it to Krishna. Krishna, I just wanted to shout at Krishna there, Prabhu, just that's because of who I am. But today I didn't shout at him. I didn't talk nastily to him. I actually talked nicely. That's my offering to you, my Lord. Please help me be more like that. So depending on where we are on our level of growth, if we understand the framework of the principle where we want to be like this, and then we work a little bit toward it and make that an offering to the Lord reciprocates by making that your default setting. And all of a sudden now you're stronger. And all of a sudden I'm becoming a little bit more kind than I was. I'm not such a jerk that I normally am. So these are different austerities that we can offer, but when we offer them in connection with Krishna as an offering to him, as a personal flower to him, then it's not separate from our Krishna consciousness. You see, the consciousness is where it's out. Thank you, Prabhu. It's a good point.
Thanks.
Lata, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much for the awesome class. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, your class gave me so much deeper understanding of how to actually fully immerse ourselves in various ways, during the day through chanting. Many of the time, obviously, I'm distracted. I finish my 16 rounds, but it's like there are some rounds which I know that I just ran through. I don't know what I said, but even doing kirtan or listening to katha. So thank you so much for, I don't know what term did you use for that, but something that meant that you immerse yourself in whatever you do. That was a very valuable point for my introspection. And also I liked the way that you said that even we can make a very small simple prayer by offering, but saying Krishna, my austerities may not be that great, but whatever I do and whatever pleases you, please accept that. So Prabhuji, my question is like, how can we we make so many imperfect, I mean, at least for myself, I'm gonna say so many imperfect efforts in the bhakti throughout the day. How can I grow to trust that even those imperfect efforts can still please Krishna?
Yes. That is a good question, isn't it? How do I know that my efforts are actually pleasing Krishna, or my bhakti is actually working? Right? How do I know? There is a verse in the 11th canto, Bhakti Pareshanu Bhava Virakti. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I can remember that. The Nava Yogendras, they're asking, or they're explaining to Maharaj Nemi, Bhakti Pareshanu Bhava Virakti, Anyatra Chaisha Trika Eka Kala. That when one performs devotional service, one experiences these things. They experience, you feel the presence of Krishna. They directly experience Krishna, the Supreme. That happens. You must have felt Krishna's presence. You reflect on how his hand is there in your life. You reflect, or sometimes when you see the deity form, oh my God, Krishna is right here, like he's smiling at me. So this is Paresh Anubhav. So this is how you can measure. You see and feel Krishna's presence in your life. Then virakti also happens. We feel detached from things that we used to be attached to. Maybe not fully, but we feel a sense, losing taste of bad habits that you never thought were even possible to lose taste for. And like, actually the stuff that is self-destructive, that I couldn't get rid of, it's now repulsive to me. This is virakti. This is a direct result. This is how I can measure. So you experience a taste for devotional service, the actual work itself, like you like doing. You start liking to do things that are Krishna conscious, bhakti, paresh anubhava, which is the second point, and virakti. These three things. These three things happen simultaneously. You do devotional service, you will feel Krishna, you perceive the Lord, and you will develop detachment. And then the analogy given is when you're eating. How do you know that the eating is working? So three things happen when you eat. You start feeling satisfaction. Feels nice. You feel the nourishment in your body. You feel the strength come in, like you can do things. And the relief from that hunger pang that happens. All those three things happen simultaneously and increasingly with each bite for a hungry person eating the food. So we can check. How do I check? Am I feeling more attracted to Krishna or not? Am I finding joy in kirtan and hearing and serving? If the answer is yes, then things are working. If you ask a question, how do I measure? This is how you measure. It's a qualitative measure. And then Paresh Anubhav. Do I feel Krishna's presence more and more clearly? Am I developing more faith that he is truly my well-wisher? That he is not a sadistic person who enjoys torturing me? No, he loves me. Am I sensing some inner peace and connection even amid external tribulations? This is Parishana Bhav. And Virakti, Anyatra. Anyatra means other things other than Krishna conscious things. Are my material desires reducing naturally, not by force, but like just falling off? And even when I engage in worldly pleasures, do they feel substantially less satisfying by contrast? Wow, okay, that's another sign of virakti. See, vairagya does not mean forced renunciation, but a natural disinterest that develops because Krishna becomes more real in your life and that enjoyment becomes truly pleasing. See, so tushti, pushti, and kshudapaya happen. Tushti is satisfaction, pushti is nourishment, and kshudapaya is hunger going away. Those three things happen when you eat. Similarly, these three things happen when you practice bhakti. Bhakti, parishanubhava, virakti. I'm not making this stuff up. It's all in the 11th canto. Look it up yourself. I'm just repeating what I've heard in English. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Verse is really, really like a summarization of how you practically experience the simultaneous effect in whatever
Experience
you
and
do in your
measure.
sadhana, right?
Experience and measure. Because you can experience it, but you got to be able to quantify it or at least qualify in this category. So you can look it up at 11th canto, chapter 2, text 42.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Sure. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol. Bhima Prabhu. Hari Bol. Your hands up again. Yes.
Yeah, I'm like that kid that raises his hand in class too much. So I will. I raised it before and I never put it down. It's just nice hearing your class, Prabhu. Very sweet, very sweet.
I love seeing your farm. It's really nice that you're able to do your work there, and it's so nice with the horses. Anyone else has any thoughts or reflections to share before the curtain opens? We have about a minute.
Yeah, Bhima's coming to New York today and bringing the first fruits of this year's, vegetables. Donate Bhakti Center for Prashad distribution for the homeless and for the Brooklyn Temple.
Hari Bol, are you going to
have over 100? Yeah, 100 heads of organic romaine, lace leaf, Boston lettuce, arugula. I don't think we harvested any spinach, baby greens, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, we got ahead. We were out in the sun as much as we possibly could. This is mostly my son at work, 90% my son. And yeah, so we're bringing some down. So I'll leave some at the Bhakti Center as well, like in their refrigerators, so that anybody going to the Bhakti Center for a feast will have a taste of my son's farm, which is called Wood Hill Farms, and he's doing this in synergy with Adi Purusha's food program. And also running his own retail market garden. But Krishna's blessings are unbelievable when you see a former wildly grown meadow turn into a productive 2,000, 3,000 pounds a year produce, and from tiny little seeds and a lot of hard work and the sun and the rain and Krishna's kiss. It's just a wonderful way to do a sadhana. Chanting in the garden is less distracting to me than sitting in a chair rocking back and forth like I'm on the spectrum. I like to chant while I'm working.
Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you for sharing this. It's such a selfless thing that you're doing. It's really uplifting for all of us. Adi Purush Prabhu ki jai.
Thank you. Wonderful class, Madan Gopal Prabhu. Darshan time. Bhima presented his horse. Let's all present what we have. Let's be seen by the Lord. Is it a horse sacrifice, Bhima Prabhu?
Lotus feet of our spiritual master. Really wait.
I bow down to receive awe and reverence. Most gracefully across the ocean of material suffering. Mercy of Krishna, which is to have my consciousness purified by the words emanating from his lotus mouth. Attachment to his lotus feet is a perfection that fulfills all desires. He opens my dark eyes, fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. He is my Lord, birth after birth. From him ecstatic prema emanates. I am ignorance is destroyed. The Vedic scriptures sing in this character. Our spiritual master is the ocean of mercy, the friend of the poor, and the Lord and master of the devotees. O Master, be merciful unto us. Give us the shade of your lotus feet. May your fame spread all over the three worlds. We take shelter at your lotus feet.
Thank you, Janitai Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Madan Gopal Prabhu, do you have a few minutes for the afterglow?
Yes, sure.
Thank you. Dear devotees, take advantage. Ask pertinent questions. Min has her hand up.
Hare Krishna, man.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much for the class. I really appreciated your answer to a question of how do we know if we're pleasing God? I was reading Perfect Question and Perfect Answers a few weeks ago, and in it, Brahmatirtha asks Prabhupada, how do we know if we are pleasing Krishna? And Prabhupada says, when we please God, we see him. And you said the same thing. And on top of that, you added a few more things there where it's actually measurable as to if we're pleasing the Lord. And I really appreciate the way you speak about the text and Krishna in a way. You know, sometimes I feel like it's too mysterious for me. It's too mystical for me. Like I can't reach bhakti in some ways, but I really appreciate how you responds to our questions in not just practical way, because it doesn't take away from the mysticism, I believe, of bhakti, you know, but it sort of adds to, it helps me to know that, oh, there are things I could actually check on. So thank you so much. And I just wanted to share with everyone that those of you who haven't seen it or didn't know about it, Madan Gopal Das has given a lecture, is giving a series of lectures on Nectar of Instruction. And he spoke on the text, second verse a couple of days ago, and it was amazing, I have to say. And I think that you touched on some of the things that we heard from you that day, and how there are things that steal away bhakti from us, and there are practices that we could apply, and and sort of methods to how to move into transcendence every second of our lives. So I highly recommend it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Min. I like your reflection about the mysticism part. That bhakti has a mystical component. In fact, there's there are those great sages, they're called the mystics. Even in other traditions, like the Sufi mystics or even the Christian mystics, they emphasize the magical nature of direct connection with God. That's why it's called mystical. And as we come closer in our bhakti to Krishna, our eyes open to the mysticism that has been in front of us the whole time.
Yes.
You see, yes. The mysticism, even the way our hands work, it's mystical. The way my heart is beating, it's mystical. The way the sun rises, this is all mystical. And then you realize that miracles have been happening everywhere, at the molecular level, at the cosmic level. And then we see that, oh, just because it's been happening, we take it for granted. And so bhakti is no less scientific and no less obvious and ubiquitous as the mysticism that's around us all the time. And so the lens of bhakti allows us to see that. And then we see there's only two ways to live in this world: to see that everything is a miracle or nothing is a miracle.
That's right. Amen.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Bhima Prabhu. Bhima Prabhu is our official Amen man. Thank you.
No one laughed with him.
I see a very important announcement by, I believe it's Krishna Kumari Mataji, who lives upstate. Please do attend this July 5th. It's the July 4th weekend, the Saturday, July 5th, meeting of the friends and disciples of Sasur Das Goswami Maharaj. It's in Stuyvesant Falls. Make a note of it. I'm hopefully going to be there as well. I'm planning to be there. And everyone is welcome to come. It's a really nice thing to see a great sadhu who has contributed so much. Guru Maharaj has written many books. Krishna Consciousness, he authored Prabhupada Lilamrit. He was one of the first members of ISKCON. He joined right there in 26 Second Avenue. So, definitely take this advantage. He's turning 86 this year. So please come and take darshan of this wonderful, sannyasi and guru and leader in our movement. And it's open to everyone. So, Hare Krishna. Yes.
Thank you, Madan Gopal Prabhu. Thank you, Krishna Kumari, for facilitating this. When a ballerina runs up and down the stage, it looks so effortless. She makes many, many, many steps, but the stage is limited, and there's a tremendous effort behind this art. Does that apply to bhakti? When you become like Madan Gopal Prabhu, does that is that there's an immense amount of effort behind it, or you just
Did you write that, Ananda Bihari, or was that taken from some classic piece of literature about the ballerina? Were you actually seeing that?
No, this is an example. I watched a video on ballerinas, and they
Oh,
say when they run so effortlessly, there's a tremendous the shoes they wear, the stretching they're doing. It's immense, but they run so effortlessly. So is that how it works in bhakti? Madan Gopal Prabhu?
I thought you were speaking from your personal experience, Prabhu. Like I can easily envision you being
I'm
the
a
ballerina.
peasant. I have nothing to do with ballet.
He's Nureyev.
I think you're
He's
secretly a ballet.
Baryshnikov. He's Baryshnikov.
You're
Yeah,
secretly a
yeah.
ballet master. You just kind of bring the analogy because I can totally picture you in those tights, Prabhu. Okay, but no, it's a good question. It's interesting because the model that we used to understand how this happens, it's counterintuitive. When you learn ballet or learn piano or any of these arts, especially the real experts, they make it look so effortless when they're doing it. But we've put a lot of practice into it, right? Like if you ask somebody for directions how to get a Carnegie Hall, and they'll say practice, practice, practice. That's how you get a Carnegie Hall. And so, yes, we have to practice. However, in our bhakti practice, what the practice is doing is actually bringing out the inner ballerina in you. It's not that you're never a ballerina. You have inner ballerina in you. You see, you have the inner expert bhakt in you who is just waiting to burst out. It's basically a fish that has been deprived of water. But the fish has to practice to flap around so that it can keep flopping along the pier until the moment comes when it's close to the edge and then jumps into the water. And finally, I can be myself. That's the real reality, is that to be effortlessly practicing bhakti like breathing, it's the most natural thing for us. But we are in an unfortunate, unnatural environment in a conditioned, incarcerated state of our own doing, unfortunately. So it's like the fish flopping around on the pier, and we are those. So yes, once the fish is in the water, it looks effortless. And it is effortless. It's born with that. I mean, it's supposed to be that. But how much effort is required for it to keep flopping around until it gets in the water? You see, that only the fish knows. But similarly, for us to undo our own undoing is really our project. So yes, effort is required. Effort is required.
I can't believe I get to be an inner ballerina. This is my dream.
You're an outer ballerina. Can you do some jumps on that meadow?
I'll let the horse do the jumping and I'll just hang on.
Yeah. This is the new word in the belly art. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Madan Gopal Prabhu. Excellent class. Excellent Q&A. We love everyone in the school and outside too. Let's see, is Karen, are you here? Karen, please bring Isaiah and Annabelle. We need the mantra.
This is called effortless Krishna consciousness.
Yeah.
Isaiah and Annabelle. Effortless beauty, effortless Krishna consciousness.
Great. Thank you. Hey, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. We'll see you soon.